Just check his level stat. First name and your role and title with the PBA.
Patrick J. Lynch, President of New York City Patrolmen's Benevolent Association.
So be clear so that I understand clearly what was filed today in State Supreme Court.
In State Supreme Court, we filed a challenge to the City Council passing a number of bills, specifically in this case, what's called the racial profiling bill. Now, racial profiling is already illegal and should be. But what this City Council has done is overstep their authority. There's already a law in place. They can't change that. But more importantly than that, it puts the onus on the individual police officers on the street doing the job, rather than the policymakers that created this policy of quotas going after 250s or stop, question, and frisk. So rather than solving the problem, going after those that make the policy, they walk away scot-free, and our police officers are faced with laws that are ambiguous, that are unclear, that they have to figure out in the street. And if someone says that they're wrong, they're now getting sued and disciplined. It's wrong. Go after the policymakers, not the police officers that don't have a choice in the matter.
At this point, some will say the law has passed, the City Council has spoken. Why keep pushing this issue?
Because they're wrong. They don't have the authority to create this law. And if you let this pass, what's the next draconian law that they will pass? This is wrong. It doesn't address any of the issues, and again, address the policy of quotas in the NYPD, and you solve this problem and many others. They chose not to do that. They chose to have press conferences and talk about a law that doesn't solve a problem.
I'm quite sure they probably will disagree with you when I speak to them, saying that this does help the community and perhaps helps police officers.
The one thing that helps the community is police officers free to go out and do their job. We've proven that. Police officers don't want to stop, summons, or arrest people unreasonably. They want to go out and have the discretion to do the job with the support of the community. No one makes streets safer than New York City police officer standing on the corner in your neighborhood. These policies are what's causing the friction in the neighborhoods, not the police officers.
Now, the mayor actually sent out a news release yesterday that we went like a 7 or 8 day stretch without any murders. This year, murders continue to be at historic lows. Murders continue to go down, even though there's this debate that stop and frisk is needed. How do you look at this reduction in crime, or how do you look at this reduction in murders? The murder rate continues to go down.
Well, first off, you look at the good work of the individual police officer, not a policy. And you have to look at more than that, and you have to look at it long term. Police officers now are torn. They don't want to violate a law that's unreasonable and put themselves and their families at risk, so now they'll hesitate, which is a safety factor for them, but also for the public as well. You want them to actively use their training and their discretion to do the job, not to overthink the issue, which could hurt them or the public as well. So look at all the other crimes as well, and look at it when some time has passed.
And finally, in terms of the issue of stop and frisk, the unions and perhaps the city administration has argued if stop and frisk goes away, crime will go up. But crime is continuing to go down, and we know so is stop and frisk. How do you answer that question there? What's the correlation?
What you need to do is allow police officers the discretion to use stop, question, and frisk constitutionally. That's all we're asking, and we'll be able to do our job. When they unreasonably ask for a quota, a certain number, that creates the fiction and doesn't get the job done. But you have to look over time of crime patterns, not in the short term. 6 days is an awful short amount of time. Let's watch, let's see. When police officers are out in the street and they're indecisive, that's the worst thing you can have. And you can't blame them because they get mixed messages. Go out and catch the criminals, but don't use the tools you're trained to use.
All right, and finally, no, you're not going to answer the question the way I'm looking to get it, but what's your message then to the city and the community and officers about this low crime rate that we're seeing this year?
The low crime rate over all the years is not because of policies, it's because of police officers on the street willing to put themselves at risk. Remember, 60% of our members are residents of the city. They're the same people in the same neighborhoods that we're talking about. We live in the city, we want a safe city, so we go out and do our job. That brings crime down, nothing else.
Very good. Please stand back there with your hand on your hips, full.
Sick of the
Like, what the hell? All right, wrap it up. No, we're going to walk. You and I are going to go down.